Not all great units in CounterSide gets to the exposure that they deserve. Even some units get the reputation that is unfitting of them. In this video, I will talk about underrated units in CounterSide, especially in the PVE side of the game. Without further ado, let's get right into the video. When it comes to being underrated, I feel like Hilda, the main character of the game, doesn't get the treatment that she deserves. Not a lot of people recommend you to build this unit, and I myself also made a mistake of not building her. I'm definitely going to build her this week, as she is a great counter that has buffs that can increase attack and crits of all counters in the field, including herself. She can also knock enemies back with her auto attack and passive skill whenever she is deployed. Her buff is definitely really useful in PvE contents, especially raids. For gears, you want to go for defensive stat on her like HP, evasion, or defense. Cooldown reduction is also pretty good on her. And for skill priorities, go for her second skill first or her passive, then her third skill, her ultimate, followed up by her basic attack. Next up is Roy Burnett. I already mentioned him in my last dedicated equipments video, so if you haven't already, definitely check it out. Just like I said, he has a really good dedicated equipment that is definitely worth for you to invest and build. And he is super slept on in global right now. Not a lot of people are talking about him. He is a really great debuffer that can make enemies take up to 15 more damage and also lower their attack speed by 30%. For gears, go for cooldown reduction on him, as his main use is a debuff support, so making sure that he lands his debuff as often as you can is really important. As for skill priority, his second skill or passive takes the most priority to level, and then his ultimate, next his third skill or active skill, followed up by his basic attack. Kathy Wade, in my opinion, is one of the best neutral unit to build. It's not like building her takes a lot of materials. As a neutral unit, this means building her is really fast and cheap, and her usefulness is not like a unit that's actually a neutral unit. Her buffs are so powerful that even if it belongs to an SR unit, I'm pretty sure that SR unit will still be top tier. Her buff allows her to increase other rangers' attack by 10%, and when her passive skill is at level 5, it also increases crit chance by 20%. For gears, you can use attack or cooldown on her. For skill priority, max her passive first, followed up by her third skill, her ultimate, and then her basic attack. Next is Arius Quaid. She is a support that focuses on casting barriers and healings. She is a really good substitute for Young Harim if you don't have her, and can work in almost any team just because she is so straightforward. And there's not much to talk about her. Her healing and barriers are her strong point, and she will keep your team alive as long as possible. Great healing support for you to invest. For gears, of course, you want to build cooldown set on her. And as for skill priority, go for her passive first, active skill second, and her ultimate third, and of course, last, her basic attack. The last unit is going to be Eddie Fisher. You can get this unit through the side story, and he is a really good buffer. His buff will increase soldiers and counter attack by 10% and also their damage taken by 10%. Probably the best passive buffer in the entire game right now, in my opinion. And if you haven't built him up, definitely build him. And for gears, go for attack speed or attack, since you only have one active skill, so cooldown reduction is out of the question. And for skill priorities, go for his counter buff first if you are using counters, or go for his second buff first if you are using soldiers. If you max his counter buff first, then max his soldier buff second, followed up by his active skill, then his basic attack. Those are my top 5 underrated units in my opinion. If you think there are more underrated units, comment down below and why they are so good. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe, and as usual, goodbye, have a nice day, and keep playing CounterSide.